Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey, Denali, thanks for the work alert. Congrats on getting first. Hope you're having a great morning. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Nice, nice, nice. Good to see everybody. Making sure everything's good to go before we get started. Good morning. Happy Monday. Good to see everybody. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. I hope you all had a good weekend. Lavender Town might be a little dark for today, but that's okay. We're good. All right, good to see everybody. How are we doing? Welcome to the stream. Monday morning is pretty good, right? Everything's going smoothly here. We took the dogs for a walk. Didn't have to fight them. It was good. The puppies are learning to like being walked. You know, it's very fun. Good weekend. How was everybody's weekend? Let me know how what you guys got up to. My guy, what's up, Basker? Good to see you this morning. But yeah, this weekend was fun. Wife and I went to New Orleans. We went to see Creed in concert. It was fun. Our first concert ever. We had a great time. Just the two of us got to get out and have a weekend just ourselves. You know, it's important. Get away and do something different every so often. And it was awesome. I would definitely be into the concert scene now, having gone and experienced a giant concert myself. It was awesome. I had a great time. My wife had a great time. Ate some good food. You know, just it was good. It was good. So that was us this weekend. We're gonna get into the game news shortly. We had quite a bit from like Thursday to today. Gamescom updates from Microsoft. Bunch of Sony news. A bunch of people want to talk about. As the title says, is PlayStation going Xbox? Oh yes, with arms wide open. Dude, it was so good. It was so good. Like seeing it live, the stage effects were cool. The sound was off the hook, dude. Like the crowd energy was amazing. It was so good. I loved every moment of it. Like I really did. All right. Well, let's jump into the game news this morning. Good to see everybody. Happy you're all here. Switch over to news cam mode. Not that we really, I should probably just switch into this for the game news streams. Maybe set up a profile just for game news streams. I don't know. I haven't decided how I want to do that yet. But that's what we'll be doing. I gotta drop the volume down too. Still, Lavender Town seems a little dark. It might be appropriate given the today's content though. Some of the stuff we're talking about. That's the wrong thing. I'm zooming in the wrong way. Crud. I was zooming the wrong thing. I was trying to zoom the page in. All right. Well, let's jump into our first topic this morning. As soon as I get a handle on where things are. News mode did turn on, correct? Correct. All right. cool. As long as it turned on proper. All right, and we'll just I don't know. That button didn't work for some reason. All right, now we can jump over. All right, first topic this morning. Before canceling ZeniMax's Destiny-style MMO shooter, Xbox executives reportedly enjoyed demos so much that the controller had to be pulled from Phil Spencer's hands. If you guys aren't familiar, ZeniMax is working on a new MMO. It was supposedly safe with all the layoffs and cuts and everything over the last couple of weeks and months. But last week, I think we found out it was just done. I believe, yeah, this is July 3rd. This is an older article, but it was making the rounds. I don't know. It showed up in my feed. I hadn't talked about it. But this was just painful to think about and see, so I figured I'd cover it here. Like I said, it is older news, but yesterday Microsoft started its latest round of layoffs, aiming to eliminate 9,000 jobs after previously cutting more than 12,000 employees over the last 2 years. So this is the big layoffs that we saw. The latest downsizing led to studio closures and game cancellations, including Blackbird, an unannounced MMO in development at ZeniMax that Xbox executives were reportedly thrilled about before abruptly killing the project. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports that production for Blackbird began at ZeniMax in 2018, a Destiny-esque third-person shooter MMO with a sci-fi noir aesthetic. Blackbird was being developed by a team of 300 employees. Its gameplay seemingly placed a greater emphasis on verticality and acrobatics, offering traversal tools like grappling hooks while climbing and air dashes. That sounds awesome. Blackbird had been a hit with Xbox executives, according to sources familiar with its development. Microsoft gaming CEO Phil Spencer was so impressed with an internal demo in March that Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty had to pull the controller from his hands in order to stop him from holding up a meeting. All signs looked overwhelmingly positive, and the game's development proceeded towards a tentative 2028 launch. So that's a shame. We know the game got canceled. I just wanted some more details on like what the game was, how popular it was, and the fact that like they were doing demo meetings and like getting held up by the CEO of gaming at Microsoft. That's wild to think about. JD, happy Monday. Good to see you, bro. But that's just weird, you know? It's like a game could be a hit with the execs and still get canned. I think Microsoft's in an odd spot in the public eye, because the more details we find and learn and see about all the cuts, the more we realize that corporate loyalty and good performance really don't amount to much in this space, and it's never been truer now more than ever. That's why devs are so transient when it comes to jobs. You stay at a place a couple years or less and find a job that pays more, because that's the only way you're going to move up. You can't just work hard and ascend the corporate ladder as it is. You have to move around. Corporations are not loyal to customers anymore, so fair is fair. No, exactly. This sentiment exactly, Dan. Good to see you. But yeah, it's a shame. And I hope whatever these guys were working on, they take all of that and all of their knowledge and what they learned and come up with something new and better. All right, let's move on. Good to see you, Will. Good to see you in chat. Maybe we'll move on. There we go. Did we jump ahead too many? I don't even know. No, we did. Okay. Let's talk about Halo. I love Halo. Love old Halo. The Halo World Championships is moving on from Halo Infinite after 2025, which begs an obvious question. So we learned that the Halo World Championships this year will get something about the future of Halo from Halo Studios. So whatever that amounts to, we don't really know yet. But this announcement that Halo is moving on from Halo Infinite, well, the World Championships will not be using Halo Infinite after 2025. That begs the question, what's next? Yo, Rocket, thanks for the gifts. That wasn't supposed to go off at all. Gosh. I've completely disrupted the game news. I'll just have that turned off. I appreciate it though, Rocket. Alright. Let's see. The medieval English author Geoffrey Chaucer once wrote, "All good things must come to an end." 7 centuries later, we're still quoting that seminal phrase from everything from everyday conversations to the titles of television series finales. It speaks to the inevitability that in time, everything has an unavoidable conclusion, which is all well and good, but I'm a bit mystified that Halo Infinite is facing the music so soon. I'm not. This will be Halo Infinite's final year representing the official Halo World Championships. In a recent blog update at Halo Waypoint, Halo Studios' Director of Competitive Engagement, Tashi, dropped the bombshell news that this year's Halo World Championship will be Halo Infinite's last. I added the B. Okay, over the next few months, the HCS will host the 2 planned majors as well as the almost sold out, highly anticipated Halo World Championship on October 24th to 26th. Once a world champion is crowned in October, the HCS will be retiring Halo Infinite from official HCS competition. Makes sense. The most recent chapter in Master Chief's ever-expanding saga has represented the franchise since its 2021 launch on Xbox and PC. It has been the Halo game for the esports scene, by virtue of being, the Halo game. No successor has been announced. While there's sure to be more Halo in the future, there's been no official communication as yet regarding a 7th mainline Master Chief game, nor any prospective competitively focused replacement. Tashi does note that this, Halo Infinite's 4th year in the full spotlight, will be the longest a single Halo esports title has held major competition. In that sense, it's something of an achievement that it's gone on this long in the first place. But, and I'm no esports expert here, I've got to reckon that the bulk of that fact pertains to a lack of follow-up project. I'm not sure that many of us anticipated a winding down of top-level tournament domination prior to hearing anything about Halo 7 or Halo Infinite times Infinity, or wherever they're going with the next one. 2 important bits to bear in mind. First, the blog post expressly mentions that we will still support Halo Infinite and the tournament scene in 26. This doesn't contradict the above. What it means is that you will be seeing Infinite elsewhere, just not at the uppermost echelon, HCS itself. Second, we might well learn about Halo Studios' sequel before Halo World Championship 2026. If that's the case, then fans won't be in the dark for long. In fact, there's a real chance we'll learn about it at Halo World Championship 2025. So that's where I'll leave it, because the article's kind of done. I think that's the logical conclusion, though. Like, with this being the last year, and they're announcing something at the Halo World Championships this year, it stands to reason that the next Halo will be announced, whether it's just the multiplayer or single player or both. It'd be great if we got a trailer for both, but now they break things up. I mean, look at how Battlefield 6 was announced over the weekend, over last week. We got the campaign reveal and then a separate multiplayer reveal. Call of Duty does the same thing. It wouldn't surprise me if Halo did the same thing as well. But we'll get something. I hope it's more than a teaser. I hope we get some kind of gameplay preview, even if it's in trailer form. Maybe some pre-rendered stuff. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? Frost, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. But it's time. It's time. Halo Infinite, technically speaking, very fun. I didn't like the weapon selection as much. It felt less interesting than Halo 5. And I enjoyed Halo 5 greatly, but it was still less interesting than even like Halo Reach or 3, as far as overall. And then, just the shop and the free-to-play side of it, a lot of people didn't like it in that regard. So moving on from Infinite now makes the most sense. I mean, it is a good game. It's very fun. Not my favorite Halo game, but not the worst by any stretch. Just weird in how it's kind of this transitional time. And Halo Studios hopefully can cook up something far better with the next release. But yeah, weird that they would announce it this way, but this kind of confirms, like, hey, something else is coming, hopefully next year. All right, what's next? Okay, last week, we talked about this on the Gaming Roundtable podcast, but I'll cover it here. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but Microsoft reversed plans to charge $80 for The Outer Worlds 2. The Obsidian sequel will now launch for $70, despite Microsoft's June announcement. Let's read on. Microsoft has reversed plans to price its next big RPG, The Outer Worlds 2, at a higher $80 price point. When the Obsidian sequel releases on October 29th, it will now cost $70, Microsoft announced on Wednesday. Last month, Xbox has said Outer Worlds 2 would be its first $80 title as part of a broader increase in game prices. A spokesperson said, "We're focused on bringing players incredible worlds to explore, and we'll keep our full-price holiday releases, including The Outer Worlds 2, at $69.99, in line with current market conditions." So, does that mean every game coming out this holiday is $70? Because it kind of sounds like we'll keep our full-priced holiday releases, including The Outer Worlds 2, at $70. Yeah, that's how I would read that. Was Halo 4 the one where they introduced the hard light weapons? Yeah, Rocket. See, I liked Halo 4. games will feel a hit over Christmas. More than likely, Dan. More than likely. I think that's why this price change is important. And we don't necessarily have to read on. There's not much else to discuss. The price did change. I think this is a result of pre-orders being low. I think the backlash for an $80 price point, coupled with layoffs and news of Microsoft being more profitable than ever, while culling 9,000 employees, doesn't sit well with a lot of people. Consumer-wise, I think we've all voted with our wallets. We're not paying $80 for this game. We don't want to pay $80 for games unless they're your Nintendo, in which case they don't care. They'll charge whatever you want. I think it's it's good. I don't think the $10 difference really means all that much, just personally. But I can't speak for everybody. I've said it in a bunch of places. Games being $80 just means I buy less games. Game Pass, if they increase the price to compensate for an $80 price tag, on full game releases, I just will not subscribe to Game Pass. It's really that simple. Like, the sweet spot for cost versus value is different for most people, but there's a spot that everybody's happy with. $60 to $70 seems to be it right now. They want to charge more because of the economy and everything else. I also think dev timelines and team bloat and things like that have made games way more expensive than they should be. If that's true, that's the case. But them walking back the $10 increase from 70 to 80, or going back from 80 to 70, I should say, not to confuse anybody. That's only good for consumers. So maybe more people pre-order, maybe more people buy it at launch. I think it'll be a good game. I enjoyed what I played of the first one, but I didn't beat it by any stretch. But it was fine. It was fine nonetheless. But yeah, good on Microsoft, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say where they're headed, but it's a good choice if every game is not $80 that releases during the holiday season or from now to the end of the year. Cool. Does that mean next year they go ahead and try to rip the band-aid again and go to $80? That remains to be seen. All right, let's move on. All right, let's talk about this. This posted literally this morning. I had to hurry and scoot this into the list. Xbox at Gamescom 2025. Xbox returns to Gamescom with over 20 titles displayed, including the first public hands-on opportunities for multiple games. And this is why I had to include it. Play Hollow Knight Silksong with a new demo. On PC, or ROG Xbox Ally X. They're going to include Outer Worlds 2, and then they'll have some live broadcast stuff. And it'll be good. Let's talk about what they're showing at the booth, because Hollow Knight Silksong just made a big deal. But see, this year, Xbox booth will feature over 20 games from our first-party studios and our amazing third-party partners, spread across more than 120 gaming stations, alongside photo opportunities and experiences. Attendees will be able to go hands-on with some of our upcoming game releases and hardware, as well as experience updates to some of our most beloved franchises, including ROG Xbox Ally and ROG Xbox Ally X, which is the handheld, Grounded 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, the DLC for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, the Age of Empires, Age of Mythology Retold, with significant presence on the show floor. Microsoft Flight Simulator 24, which I don't know why. I didn't even realize a new one had come out. I thought it was just more DLC for the other flight sim, but this is the new one. And more DLC for that. Outer Worlds 2 is going to be their big thing, big push right now. But the third-party offerings for demo play, if you're at Gamescom, which I'm not in Europe, I don't know. Hollow Knight Silksong, Borderlands 4, Onimusha Way of the Sword, Metal Gear Solid Delta, EA Sports FC26, Animo, I don't know how to say it. No Ghosts at the Grand. That actually looked like a fun game. Power Wash Simulator 2. Thought this was interesting. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Final Fantasy 16, Invincible Versus, Super Meat Boy 3D, Chronos The New Dawn, and Mistfall Hunter. And then some surprises from their partners, which is interesting. What surprises could they be? I don't know. They're also going to talk about World of Warcraft, Black Ops 7, which I'm surprised Black Ops 7 doesn't have a bigger presence at this show. That's very unusual. With how big this game's going to be, but I guess they'll do their own event. Do they still do the Call of Duty events? I don't know. They usually do. I just don't know when they are. I'm so out of the loop on Call of Duty. It's Madden. It comes out every year. We play it for a little bit, and then we move on to the next game. And then some other stuff going on. Brent, what's up, dude? Good to see you. How's everybody doing? Okay. So yeah, Wednesday, August 20th, Thursday, August 21st. Gamescom, Microsoft. It looks cool. I just was like, ooh, Hollow Knight news. And then it turned into Gamescom news. I was like, all right, well, we can talk about the lineup. I may watch this in a VOD. I don't know. I won't do any live things because they'll be on Europe time and I'm not gonna be awake, or it'll be too early or just too late for me to really do any live coverage of it. But we'll definitely talk about announcements in the game news and stuff. That's next month. So stuff to look forward to. All right, let's move on. All right, Sony, this is the big story here. Sony wants to expand PlayStation Studios games beyond PlayStation hardware, hiring to partner with Xbox, Steam, Nintendo Switch, and more. This is a Windows Central article from Jez Gordon covering this. This is the first article I came across. There were tweets and other stuff covering this. I really wanted an article to kind of summarize and bring it all home. Sony's following in Microsoft's multi-platform strategy, looking to acquire a bigger third-party publishing footprint across PC and even rival consoles. Over the past year, Microsoft leapt first into some controversial decisions regarding its first-party games output, putting previously exclusive titles like Forza Horizon and many others onto rival consoles. At the time, Xbox's efforts to give up on console exclusives looked like a swan song for the embattled platform. Hardware sales continue to look bleak on paper, faced with relentless competition from PlayStation and Nintendo. However, fast forward a few months and things are looking a bit different. So this is where we acknowledge that like Forza Horizon selling really well on PS5 is actually really good for Microsoft and Xbox as a brand. Despite weak hardware sales overall, Xbox continues to post record console playtime hours, buoyed by a string of high-quality releases and expansions into other markets with Xbox Cloud Gaming. Xbox still commands millions of active users, so much so that even arch-rival PlayStation itself has opted to self-publish Helldivers 2 onto the Xbox platform, and it looks like Team Blue isn't stopping there either. This is where the reason the whole article exists. A new job listing on PlayStation's official Greenhouse hiring platform shared with us Hazador on X. What? A new job listing on PlayStation's official Greenhouse hiring platform shared with us suggests by Hazador on X suggests the PlayStation. I see sentence structure, man. Like proofread, please. Suggests that PlayStation is ready to follow Xbox. The language in the listing suggests that PlayStation is ready to expand even more of its first-party titles, such as God of War, Last of Us, and Horizon, over to competing platforms, including Steam and Xbox itself. So, interesting. Let's read the listing itself. All right, Senior Director, Multi-Platform and Account Management. Why PlayStation? PlayStation isn't just the best place to play, it's also the best place to work. Today, we're recognized as a global leader in entertainment. All right, fluff words. Give me the overview. Okay, reporting to the Vice President, Commercial Management as Senior Director of Multi-Platform and Account Management, you will play a critical leadership role in shaping and executing the global commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios software titles across all digital platforms beyond PlayStation hardware, including Steam, Epic Games Store, Xbox, Nintendo, and mobile. This role is accountable for optimizing title profitability, ensuring cross-functional alignment, and leading a high-performing team focused on multi-platform expansion, mid-range commercial planning, and platform partner management. The job listing specifically describes bringing more games to PlayStation games to Xbox. The job listings for a Senior Director, Multi-Platform and Account Management. Successful applicant will lead a team. Yeah, we just kind of read through all of that. So then Jez talks about how the industry has changed. PlayStation's been signaling to investors for some time that it wants to boost margins, and a surefire way to do that is to sell more software. Duh. With the gaming population less willing to switch platform now more than ever, it stands to reason that Sony could make heaps of high-impact, high-margin cash by putting some of its older games onto Xbox. There's still tens of millions of active Xbox gamers, many of whom likely never experienced titles like Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima, or others that would likely over-index on Xbox. PlayStation's renowned for high-quality games is reflected by their high cost. Putting more older games on Xbox would do little to harm PlayStation's hardware footprint, which is now essentially locked in and permanent as people have solidified and built up their digital game libraries. The same is true on the inverse. Xbox players with decades and thousands of dollars invested in the platform are unlikely to move across and start playing service games on other platforms, which is where the bulk of playtime hours and revenue remains. So, with the rumors that next-gen Xbox will run Steam, which also has Sony's games, it would behoove Sony to simply cut out the middleman and go straight to self-publishing on Xbox more than likely. Perhaps Microsoft offered them a better cut than Steam does too, to get the budding partnership underway. So, I don't know if the rest of the last little paragraph is important, but here's what like everyone thinks, right? Everyone thinks and is excited that maybe Spider-Man comes out on the Xbox. Maybe we get Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. You know, hey, maybe we even get Last of Us, right? One of Sony's favorite titles to remake and remaster. Well, this would be an excuse for them to remaster it a 5th time or a 6th time. I don't know how many times they remade The Last of Us 1 and then The Last of Us 2. You know, that, and I'm not trying to throw shade. It's just weird how often that game has been like republished as a new game with some kind of title or something to make it different. And yes, there are graphical differences. And I'm not, anyway, that's a tangent we don't need to go down. I'm just saying that it would make sense to release some PS4 exclusives on the Series S and X that a lot of the core Xbox gamers who don't buy any other platform never played. Perfect time for them to get in on it. They could do the same on the Switch too with, you know, again, their biggest exclusives that are last gen. I mean, why not? You know, there are people that buy a Switch or a Switch 2. They're not buying anything else. Put your games there, you know, be successful. Like that's what's gonna keep a lot of these studios open. Microsoft learned that pretty fast. They saw that even with Activision under their belt, they had to keep Call of Duty multi-platform because that didn't make people suddenly run out and buy Xboxes, and it shouldn't have. You know, I'm kind of the same way with digital games on Xbox. I'd rather buy physical on PlayStation and Nintendo, but Xbox, I have a big digital library. I don't mind buying more digital games on my Xbox, so long as the platform support is there. I'd rather buy physical more often than not, but I mean, I have a Series S here in my office, so if I play anything on it, it's got to be digital. And that's kind of the mindset I think a lot of people have, is like, well, all of my older games do work on my Xbox, or most of them, not necessarily all of them, but most of them work, so why wouldn't I keep those games like available? Why wouldn't I stick with the platform where those games are available? And then with the switch to Microsoft maybe doing like what we've been calling the Xbox OS that runs Xbox and Steam and Epic Game Store and all these other things all together, that digital library would follow me. Whereas the PlayStation, there's no guarantee that would support that ever. So put the games on Xbox where there's going to be a significant number of people staying on that platform and will always stay on that platform so long as it's an option. You know, instead of trying to price your competitor out of the hardware game, you just make the games people want, and then hey, now you're making Xbox bucks along with PlayStation bucks, and then there you go. I think that makes the most sense. And we've talked about this before on the Gaming Roundtable and other things. And I think when we saw, you know, MLB The Show was kind of an exception. It wasn't the expectation, right? Because the MLB was like, hey, you have to do this or we're pulling your exclusivity. But it made sense. The Major League Baseball saw that, like, hey, if you put this everywhere, more people are going to buy it. And that's what happened. Go figure, you know? With Helldivers 2, there's enough of a demand on Xbox, even with the lower, the really dismal console sales numbers. There's enough of a demand on Xbox that they see a value in releasing it there. And I think some of those older games, you know, they could take their PC approach and release first on PlayStation if they want for their exclusives. And then a year later, 2 years later, it really doesn't matter. Delay it and release it on Xbox, and people are still going to show up and buy it. I think Spider-Man would be a top selling game on the Xbox store for months. You know, like easy. You know, even if it's not, even if it wasn't, it would be, but even if it wasn't the remastered version, it would still do very well. So yeah, the writing's really been on the wall for a while. between Xbox and Sony that like people are locked in on their platforms. They're not going to switch. They're, people that bought a PS5 likely had a PS4, likely going to buy a PS6. I realized over the last, like, I don't know, 10 years or so, very few people go out and buy all three or however many consoles are available in a given cycle. Very few people go out and get all of that. And that makes sense. You shouldn't be expected to, and that's how I grew up. If you wanted to play everything, you had to get everything. And if you didn't have it, you just didn't play it, or you had a friend that had it and had to go over there. And that doesn't really work anymore. We're all adults now, and we don't go hang out with our friends to play games. We go hang out with our friends outside of our own houses. We're tired of being there. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. If we see Horizon Zero Dawn launch on Xbox, cool. That doesn't hurt that everybody on PlayStation loves the game and got to enjoy it, and now people on Xbox get to play it and also enjoy it. Anybody upset over it, I wouldn't even listen to them. Anybody calling you out, telling you you're crazy for thinking this would ever happen. I mean, Helldivers 2 wasn't going to happen, and then now it is. So it's where we are. I think it's awesome. I really do. I think it's great to get more people in. It helps sales. It helps keep studios, selling games easily. And even, they could partner up with Game Pass and put stuff in Game Pass, and then even more people are playing. If Helldivers 2, not at launch, but if it doesn't hit Game Pass ever, I would really be surprised. I think it's going to sell really, really well. I think when it does release, I want to pick it up just to support the Xbox release and show Sony, hey, it doesn't really matter where people are playing. People just need to be able to play your game, So that's where I'll leave that. Let's talk about some other Sony stuff, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. I'm excited for this future where the box doesn't matter. It's just who's making the game. I think that's an amazing place to be. All right, let's talk about this. A few other Sony updates for the PlayStation that kind of caught me off guard, but makes sense when you look at the big picture. Sony's new PS5 Power Saver mode sounds ideal for a PlayStation handheld. Sony's starting to test a new Power Saver mode for PS5 consoles that will allow games to run with low power consumption. Power Saver mode is being revealed as part of a new PS5 system update beta today, which lets you pair a DualSense controller to multiple devices. We'll talk about that in the next article. But the new Power Saver mode will scale back game performance in favor of lower power consumption, which sounds ideal for Sony's rumored PlayStation handheld. While this feature won't be available during the beta phase, once it officially launches, supported PS5 games will scale back performance and will allow your PS5 to reduce its power consumption when the feature is enabled optionally by gamers. That was from... Okay. Let's see. Sony will share supported PS5 games and performance impacts closer to launch. The feature is clearly part of Sony's environmental commitments, but it also sounds like an early way to get PS5 developers ready to think about offering even more modes for games, especially if a portable PlayStation console is on the way that plays PS5 games on the go. Microsoft also asked games developers to build multiple game modes to support its Xbox Series S console. While you won't be able to test the Power Saver mode just yet, today's PS5 beta will allow you to pair up to 4 devices. Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment. So what I think the takeaway here is the Power Saver mode, if the rumored handheld is real, it's supposed to be like a PS5 Lite, in terms of performance. It'll run PS5 games. It's the same architecture, just portable, smaller, all of those things we see in like the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally and all of these handheld PCs. Just think of that, a PlayStation Portal with more graphics power, or any graphics power, to be honest. But the low power mode, Power Saver mode, means that the game can dynamically scale back, if it's enabled to use less power, which is good for the home consoles, if you're, concerned about that kind of stuff. And that's one way to introduce it. But the other thought is, hey, we can have the game run on a handheld, have it PlayStation handheld verified, just by cutting the power consumption back. The power profile also sets the graphics lower, and the frame rate maybe it locks at like 30 instead of 60. it could be a thing. I don't know how that would play out. We'll see. But it's interesting because it kind of does pair well. Segue. Against with the other update in the beta, so the PS5 update beta brings DualSense pairing across multiple devices. And we'll talk about it in this article. A new PS5 beta update has introduced a feature that enables simultaneous pairing of DualSense wireless controllers and DualSense Edge wireless controllers with multiple devices. That's pretty much what it is. If you want your DualSense to connect to like your PC and your PlayStation and your phone, well, now with this beta, you can save 4 different profiles. You hold a button combo on the controller that corresponds to each profile, and it'll pair. You can save what's paired on that profile. This is great because one major issue I have with moving controllers between my PC and any console is I essentially have to resync it, right? And if I didn't have to do that step, if it was just a button combo to just switch back and forth, that would be awesome. I don't know if the Xbox controller supports this. Supposedly, there's something that you can do. All I know is that I can switch between Bluetooth and Xbox mode pretty quickly, but you can't really do that. PlayStation has its Bluetooth, and you just resync it every time. I would rather have the profile approach, where I can just button combo my way around my devices. So, I could jump from my PlayStation to my PC to like my iPad or my MacBook or whatever easily without having to resync and delete and re-add the controller, because that's what I have to do every time. It will not reconnect just on its own. It'll just tell me it can't find it, and then it doesn't connect. And so I think this is a great solution if you do that kind of thing. If you don't, hey, you know what? You're not going to notice anything, and that's fine. Personally, I'm looking forward to this kind of update because I do like using my DualSense for some games on my PC or my phone, And not often I play on my phone or my iPad, but the option's still there. Every Apple Arcade game supports a controller. The DualSense is very comfortable. Xbox is still my favorite controller, but the DualSense is very, very close for me now. The DualShock 4 was not. I did not like the DualShock 4, especially compared to the DualSense. Like, the DualSense is an awesome controller, and I like seeing more functionality come to it. Next level, good to see you. What's good, man? All right, and I think this is our final article that we're going to talk through today. With release news expected soon, Metroid Prime 4 has been rated. So we still don't have a date for Metroid Prime 4. And that's crazy because it's supposed to come out this year. We've been waiting since the Switch 1 was revealed for Metroid Prime 4. And now we're finally on the cusp of, we know 2025 is the date. But we still don't have that date to the day. We just have the year. Well, apparently the game has been rated. Where is that? Where? According to a listing published on Friday, the Switch title has been rated for ages 12 and up due to mild violence. This is South Korea's classification board. When you start seeing ratings come out, you start seeing more games, more release dates being closer and closer. And Rocket hits the nail on the head. Give me Metroid. I've been waiting so long for Metroid Prime 4. It is crazy how long this game has taken to come out. I don't understand how they don't have the date revealed yet. And what are they waiting on? If they shadow drop this, that's going to be weird. Because this is a huge release for them. This is a massive release on both the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. And I really hope the Switch 2 edition is the main edition that they push. I really do. Because yes, it's going to be good on Switch 1. You'll still get to enjoy it. But the Switch 2 edition should be the best way to play it. And I'm excited for that. So, this kind of couples with rumored Nintendo Directs that are supposed to be coming up. I really think it'll be this week. We're supposed to get a Nintendo Direct sometime this week, and there's still nothing. I haven't seen anything. It's been over a decade. I need it, dude. Rocket, you hit the nail on the head. We need it. We're tired of waiting on it. I would expect the Nintendo Direct to have been announced either this morning or by Wednesday morning, but we'll see. I don't know. I haven't seen anything, but there's been rumors that a Direct is supposed to happen this week, and I'm just kind of checking to see if I missed anything on X in relation to a Nintendo Direct being announced. But no, nothing yet. And I just want it. I want to know where this game is. You know, when's the release date? Is it before Pokemon ZA? Is it after? It really doesn't matter when. I'm gonna get it. I want to know when I should expect to play it, and that's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the game news this morning. Man, we're done with 20 minutes to spare. I gotta find ways to fill out this whole stream. Gotta find ways to fill out this whole stream. But good stream. I think PlayStation games coming to Xbox makes a lot of sense. It may upset you, and that's okay. We all got to grow up sometime and realize that the companies don't care about your loyalty. They care about money. You know, and that's what's going to be the bottom line every single time. But good show this morning. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I guess yeah, let's find somebody to raid. I'm not one for just idling and hanging out and doing nothing. So we'll find somebody to raid out to and wrap things up. Let's see here. Frost, good show, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot, dude. Since we've shifted doing game news to the morning sessions, it's been a lot of fun. It's really different, but it has saved me a lot of time working on stuff, and I've been able to put more time into other stuff. All right, we're gonna send it over to Pastor Dustin. Guys, thanks again for hanging out. Game news was a lot of fun today. I will see you guys tomorrow night. We're gonna play some Pokemon Unite. We're still trying to get Latios unlocked. We're very close to getting him for free. I don't know how close we're gonna get, but thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you guys being here. It was a fun stream. If you haven't already, hit the follow button or subscribe button or whatever button is on your platform, because we're on a lot of platforms now. Hit that button. Help me out. Like the stream if it supports likes. And thanks for being here. Y'all have a great day. I love each and every one of you. I'm thankful for you. And see ya.